Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as always, we'll be talking about our weekly Torah portion, Parshas Nitzavim. When we will be standing, and Moshe Rabbeinu tells us when we are standing in front of him today, and this poor Parsha tells us this is it. We're getting to the close of the Torah. This is one of the last speeches or conclusion of speech of Moshe Rabbeinu for the last months or so. This is the end of the Torah. This is the end of the year, because next week we will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah. And this is the time to analyze our decisions from the passing year and get new decision, to create new decision, to accept new beginnings for the new year, Abba Aleinu L'Tova. The question is how we're making decisions. And in our days, the self-decisive approach is not so popular anymore. It's on many levels. The success of any politician is based on on his or her team, on the team of advisors, and the cult of the personality, like a personal cult, like it was back in former Soviet Union. It's not that popular anymore, at least in a civilized world. The same thing in other levels, in business, in medicine, in science. We always rely on the Consilium, on our advisor, board of advisors. Rabbi created a revolution in a Jewish approach when you don't run to your rabbi or rebbe or tzaddik with every question without analyzing what's going on. No, you have to, first of all, seek advice of your friends who are professionals in the field. It's many times that we see in Lubavitch Rebbe letters when somebody asks him a question about medical decision, he said, seek advice of the professional friends. If you have a friend who is a doctor, ask the doctor. Don't ask the Rebbe. The same thing in business, in science, and so on. Kadosh Baruch Hu himself, God himself, when he created the world, but rather he already created the world, when he was planning to create a human being, he created a board of advisors. Actually, the Masechet Sanhedrin tells us that the question that God asks in the Torah, Naseh Adam, shall we create the human? This is a question mark. Who he asked? He asked the angels, that he created kind of a team that he relied on their opinion. He didn't rely very much on their opinion, but it's a sad story for angels. But we cannot make decisions without advisors, without people that we rely on their opinions. What's to do for us? How we making decisions, how we analyze our decisions in everyday life, because Judaism involves making decisions in every intersection. This is the outcome of our freedom of choice, by which we become the partners in the creation. Our weekly Torah portion, Moshe himself, gives us a life hack, how to make a decision based on the opinion of the most professional Consilium. He tells us when he gathers us together for this new covenant with God before we enter the land of Israel, that he tells us it's not only you standing in front of me today, but those that are standing here and those that are not standing here today making this covenant. Most of our sages comment that its covenant relates not only for the present, but all the generations to come. But I want to take it one notch higher or backwards, because every intersection, any moment that I have to make a decision, I'm making a decision obviously also for the future generations, what comes after me, and this is responsibility, because everything has an outcome. But also I'm making decisions for all the generations that were before me, because the summary of all those generations brought me to this intersection when I have to make a decision. Not in such a recent, in a pretty recent past, Ben Gurion, the first Prime Minister of Israel, before he became Prime Minister, was the head of the World Zionist Organization. He had to respond to the British mandate, who decided to divide the future state of Israel. And he couldn't take such a responsibility to decide what belongs to Jewish people and what not. And he asked to think until the morning. On the way back, he met his friend, one of the leaders of the Jewish agency himself, Jewish Union himself, Yitzhak Tabening, who he asked him, what do you think? Should I agree to this deal or not? Rabbi Yitzhak who was this Ashkenaz Jew, he said, give me till the morning. In the morning he came and told Ben Gurion, no, you should not agree to this deal. Ben Gurion asked him, why? He said, I asked my advisors. He asked, who are your advisors? He said, I asked generations that brought me here today, that dreamed about the land of Israel. And I asked the generations that will come and God willing will live in the land of Israel. And they told me, no, the land of Israel belongs to Jewish people. We know that the result of this was the foundation of the state of Israel. The same thing us. Every decision that we make, we have the most professional and most reliable Consilium. The people that were here before us and the people that will be after us. And we always will be there to help us to make a right decision for the upcoming year. Thank you very much. See you next week.